Well, now this might not be a story that is going to fascinate all of us, but it is something that we all should hear about, and it's about Yellowjackets. I'm here with Heather Stoven, and you are part of the OSU Extension in Yamhill County, right?
Yes, I am.
So first of all, let's just jump right into Yellowjackets. I think a lot of us want to know what exactly good do they bring to the world? What is their purpose for existence?
Sure. So Yellowjackets can actually be a beneficial insect, even though they of course can at times cause issues for us in our homes and that sort of thing. But they can as well feed on other insects. So soft-bodied insects, caterpillars in your garden that are feeding on your vegetables, that sort of thing. So
then just because they look evil doesn't mean that they don't necessarily do some kind of good for we gardeners.
Right, exactly. No, they can be beneficial.
And then, I've had personal experience with this in my own garden. When mowing the lawn, all of a sudden they're coming out of the ground. Are they just ground dwellers?
So not always. Most of the time they're going to have ground nests, but they can also form nests above ground as well.
Right. Well, then I'd also want to know though, when, we always think of them in the summer and fall because that's when we're really outside a lot and we interact there more. But what is their life cycle and why should we be paying attention to them here in the springtime even?
Sure. So what happens is in the fall, new queens are produced in the nest from the active queen that season.
Right.
In the fall, October, November, that colony will die off and they're not going to come back into that nest again. So if you find a nest in the fall, at the end of the season, it's not bothering you, leave it there because it's, the queen is gonna die off. The new queens, though, are going to overwinter that season for the winter, and then they'll come out in the spring, and they will then start looking for new nesting sites. So that's kind of where we're at now. They've already probably found nesting sites and are starting their new colonies, but at this time, the colonies are smaller. So if you do find a colony, it may be harder to spot this time of year because you're not going to have as many workers coming in and out of the nest.
So you're not going to see the flow of activity.
You're not going to see the flow of activity. But, if you do notice a nest this time of year, it would be far easier to manage than another time of year, and that it's small enough that you're not going to have workers that are causing you quite as much harm as, later on the season when they built up to hundreds or even thousands of members within the one colony.
And so certainly if you get the queens at this time of year, that even helps you in the springtime faster than if you start trying to attack later.
Right, yes, absolutely.
And so then do you have information on that so that we could send people and gather more information, maybe a picture of them and all of that good stuff?
Right, so it is good to identify the insect that you have and make sure it actually is a yellow jacket. So yellow jackets tend to be a little bit stockier than some other types of wasps. So they're the worker is about 1/2 inch long or so, yellow and black stripe. They're not going to be as hairy as a honeybee. So honeybees, you can kind of look at them and they look a little bit fuzzier. And so a yellow jacket's going to be really kind of a robust type wasp versus a paper wasp, which is going to often have those thin waists and it has those longer legs that you can see. So those are less aggressive. So if you see those nests, and they're going to be smaller, those small little nests that can often be in an eave or something like that under your house. So those are going to be less aggressive and you wouldn't need to worry about them as much. So if you found some sort of wasp or insect that you're interested in, want to know, is this actually a yellow jacket, you could send a photo in to ask an expert or to the extension service in your local county to have it actually identified, especially if you know that there's a nest for that particular insect nearby, just to clarify and make sure you're treating the right kind of insect.
Well, there you have it. We always want to give the best information we can, and that is often going to the professionals. So thank you so much for your expertise on this. Go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over and get all the information you need. Thank you so much.
All right, no, thank you.